The Book of 2 Samuel explained, from triumph to tragedy. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help us build the channel. The King and the Kingdom. Every story of the Bible reveals something about God's heart, and something about ours. The Book of 2 Samuel is no different. It's a story of victory and defeat, faith and failure, grace and consequence. It tells how David, Israel's greatest king, rose to power, united the nation, and built a kingdom. But also how his choices shattered his family and left scars that lasted for generations. 2 Samuel isn't just the story of a king, it's the story of a heart. A heart that sought God, and sometimes strayed from Him. A heart that reminds us, God's mercy is bigger than our mistakes. The rise of the king. When 1 Samuel ended, King Saul had fallen in battle, and Israel was in chaos. Now, in 2 Samuel, David rises from shepherd and fugitive to king. 2 Samuel 2:4, NIV, Then the men of Judah came to Hebron, and there they anointed David king over the tribe of Judah. At first, David only rules the tribe of Judah. But after a long civil conflict with Saul's family, the tribes of Israel finally unite. 2 Samuel 5:3-4, ESV. So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron, and King David made a covenant with them before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. For the first time, Israel is united, one people, one king, one purpose. David captures Jerusalem, and makes it his capital, the city of David. It's not just a political move. It's a spiritual one. Jerusalem becomes the center of worship for generations to come. 2 Samuel 6:14, NIV, wearing a linen ephod, David was dancing before the Lord with all his might. When David brings the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem, he doesn't act like a distant ruler, he dances with joy. Because David knows, the true King of Israel is God Himself. Lesson: true leadership starts with humility before God. Before David led the nation, he first led in worship. Victories, peace, and God's promise with the Ark in Jerusalem, David's kingdom begins to thrive. He defeats Israel's enemies, the Philistines, the Moabites, the Edomites. He shows kindness to Saul's family, sparing Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. 2 Samuel 9:7, NIV, Don't be afraid, David said to him, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. David remembers mercy, even when he has power. And in return, God gives David something greater than victory. A promise. 2 Samuel 7:12-16, NIV, The Lord declares to you that the Lord Himself will establish a house for you. Your house and your kingdom will endure forever before me, your throne will be established forever. This is the Davidic Covenant, God's eternal promise. From David's line will come a king who will reign forever, not with swords and armies, but with truth and grace. That king is Jesus Christ. Lesson: every promise God makes, He fulfills, sometimes not in our lifetime, but always in His perfect plan. The turning point: sin and shame. But even the best of men can fall when their hearts drift from God. David's greatest victory is soon followed by his greatest failure. 2 Samuel 11:2, NIV. One evening David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof he saw a woman bathing. Her name was Bathsheba. Though she was married, David's desire led him down a dark path. A single look became lust, lust became adultery, and adultery became murder. 2 Samuel 11:15, NIV. Put Uriah in the front where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die. David, the man after God's own heart, had become the man who broke it. When confronted by the prophet Nathan, David doesn't defend himself, he breaks. 2 Samuel 12:7, NIV. You are the man, Nathan said. Why did you despise the word of the Lord? David falls to his knees and repents deeply. He pours out his heart in what would become Psalm 51, Psalm 51:10, ESV, Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Lesson: God doesn't reject the broken, He restores them. Repentance doesn't erase the past, but it opens the door for grace. Consequences and family chaos. Though God forgives David, sin always leaves consequences. The peace in David's home begins to crumble. His son Amnon commits a terrible act against his sister Tamar. In anger, David's son Absalom kills Amnon and flees. For years, bitterness grows between father and son. When Absalom finally returns, he wins the hearts of the people and plots a rebellion. 2 Samuel 15:6, NIV. So Absalom stole the hearts of the people of Israel. David's own child rises against him. The once celebrated king is now running for his life, barefoot, weeping as he leaves Jerusalem. 2 Samuel 15:30, NIV. But David continued up the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went. Absalom's rebellion ends in tragedy. As he flees battle, his hair catches in the branches of a tree, and Joab, David's commander, kills him. When David hears the news, he breaks down. 2 Samuel 18:33, NIV. O my son Absalom! My son Absalom! If only I had died instead of you. Lesson: sin forgiven still has ripple effects. But even through heartbreak, God's mercy remains steady, quiet, and sure. Restoration, worship, and reflection. In his later years, David faces new challenges: a rebellion from Sheba, a devastating famine, and a plague caused by his pride. Each trial humbles him, reminding him that victory belongs to God alone. 2 Samuel 24:10, NIV. David was conscience-stricken after he had counted the fighting men, and he said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly in what I have done. Yet even at the end, David returns to the place he began, the altar of worship. He builds an altar to the Lord and offers sacrifices. There, the plague stops. 2 Samuel 24:25, NIV. Then the Lord answered his prayer in behalf of the land, and the plague on Israel was stopped. The final chapters of 2 Samuel show a man who has lost much, but never lost sight of the God who never gave up on him. 2 Samuel 22 2-3, NIV, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, my God is my rock, in whom I take refuge." Lesson: no matter how far we fall, God is still our refuge. Grace is not the absence of consequence, it's the presence of God in the midst of it. What 2 Samuel teaches us: the book of 2 Samuel is a story of humanity and holiness colliding. It reminds us that even the strongest faith can stumble, and even the deepest sin can be forgiven. Here's what it teaches us: God's promises never fail. The covenant with David continues in Jesus. Repentance restores relationship. When we confess, God draws near. Pride brings downfall, but humility invites grace. Leadership requires integrity. David's failures teach future generations to seek purity, not popularity. 2 Samuel 22:31, NIV, "As for God, his way is perfect, the Lord's word is flawless, he shields all who take refuge in him." The story of David reminds us, even when we fail, God's faithfulness never changes. If this video helped you understand the book of 2 Samuel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly Bible studies. Question for you: what part of David's journey challenges or inspires you the most?